Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we're playing Interloper. Now, trying to represent Interloper in a picture was quite challenging actually, so I really didn't go for Interloper here, it was more like Trespasser. And you can see someone trying to sneak into the house of, well, clearly trying to sneak given there's a spotlight shining right at them. They're posed awkwardly thinking, I've been caught, time to make a run for it. And I guess that's kind of the definition of an interloper, which is why I sort of went for this particular picture here, since it's an individual who clearly doesn't belong where they are right now. Now, speaking of interloper, when I actually take a look at today's grid, I'm not entirely certain I get the reference. Maybe as we start solving it, we will get the reference, or if we're very lucky, the constructor 99% sneaky will actually leave a comment explaining how he got to this particular title name. Now, speaking of which, let's take a look at today's puzzle and rule sets. So, the Interloper by 99% Sneaky. Yeah, I really can't see the meaning of it from this grid. Maybe the idea is that there's a digit that somehow doesn't belong on some of the clues. Maybe. We'll figure it out, hopefully, as we solve this. Rule sets. Normal Sudoku rules apply. That means place the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, in every column, and in every 3x3 box. Then we have digits along thermometers strictly increase from the bulb end. So imagine that this grey line here is indeed a thermometer. That is the bulb end. You need to increase from the bulb end. It doesn't have to be consecutive like I've been doing, so this would be a totally valid pencil marking. What I couldn't do though is, as just with physical thermometers, as the numbers increase, I can't go back and actually decrease it and do something like this. That is no longer a valid thermometer pencil mark, with the 2 being a decrease of the previous digits. What else do we have? Adjacent digits along thin green lines must have a difference of at least 5. You'll recognize these as German whisper lines, so if that was a 2, for example, these 2 adjacent digits on the green line must be 5 or more away, such as 7, 8, or 9. That does mean that you end up with this pattern where you're oscillating from high digits, such as 6, 7, 8, 9, low digits 1, 2, 3, 4, and notice I did not include the number 5 anywhere in that list. If you ever think about it, you'll understand why. We also have thick box borders, divide the thick blue lines into segments with equal sums. So essentially this blue line here is divided by this thicker black line, different box lines. So whatever this cell is, it must be the sum of all of these 3 cells. Same is true for this line. So this is a value which is equal to the sum of these 3 cells, and it's also the same value in here. Clearly, not all the lines have the same total, because these 2 cells can see one another, these 2 cells can see one another, so the lines have no real connection other than Sudoku between each other. So that's region sum lines. Then we've got just the black Kropke dot, and I can literally only see just the one. And all that's saying is that the digits separated by the black dot are in a 1 to 2 ratio, i.e. 1 is double the other. So if that was a 2, this would have to be 1 or 4, so that one cell is double the other cell. There is nothing about negative constraints, so that 2 here could be a 4, for example. Without black dot, that would be a totally suitable, well, pencil mark. So the only thing left to say now is, if you want to identify the interloper, which is clearly hiding somewhere in this cell or in this grid, link will be in the description down below as usual for you to play along. And with that said, I'm going to restart the clock, see how I got on. Sometimes I really wish before I hit that restart button, I take a moment just to think a little bit about what is going on in this grid, because there is no real obvious place to start. So the thermos here, there are 6 cells, which means that there is 3 degrees of freedom. I'm not sure I want to pencil mark either of these. The German whisper lines are only 3 cells long at their maximum, and the black Kropke dot, there's only 1 of them. So my temptation is actually to think about the region sum lines. And the reason for that, you can see that each of these region sum lines have 1 cell in one of the boxes, and then 3 cells in the other boxes. And this is interesting because what it allows us to say is that the minimum, which is 1, 2, 3 in any one of these boxes, makes a 6. So all of these cells, which are the single cell sum of these region sum lines, are 6, 7, 8, or 9. And this clearly is not 7 or 9. On a black Kropke dot, if it is a 7, that would be 3.5 or 14, neither of which is allowed. This is 6 or 8. This is 3 or 4. If it's a 6, it's a 3. If it's 8, it's a 4. And therefore, this is 8 or 9 to be 5 or more away from whatever this cell is. We can also see now that because this is not a 9, and this is sort of a trick that we're going to probably use a few times today, as soon as you realize that one of these sums is not a 9, we know that on the rest of the region sum line, it has to have a 1. If it's not a 1, the minimum would be 2, 3, 4, which is too big. That would add up to 9, and this is clearly not allowed. Now, one possibility, which I can immediately discount, yes, I can immediately discount, is 1, 2, 3. So to get to 6, there's only one way of doing it, which is 1, 2, 3. Leaves us with one low digit, which is the 4. Now take a look at the rest of this box. Where would you place the 4? And you know that it has to be on one of these green German whisper lines, because whichever one it is, and it can only be this one, we're oscillating between high and low digits, so the 4 has to be somewhere on here. Only place for it would be there, because these two would have to be high. To be 5 or more away, that would require a double 9, breaking Sudoku. So, long way of saying this is not 1, 2, 3, and therefore this is not a 6, this is an 8. First digit, not just under 3 minutes, so that's always a good start. This is 4, this is 9. We can keep playing this forward. These are not 9s, for example. Therefore, this is 6, 7, or 8. There has to be a 1. These are not 8s. We can do better here, actually, because that doesn't contain a 4. The only way you can make 7 in 3 cells is 1, 2, 4. And given 4 is not available, neither of these are 7. And my options now are actually very limited. It's either 1, 2, 5 to get to an 8, or 1, 2, 3 to get to a 6. What it does require, though, is a 2. The only other possibility was 1, 3, 4 to get to 8, but that is gone now that we've actually written in the 4. And I'll be honest, I'm not entirely sure where to go next other than pencil marking the thermometers. So, I mean, we know that this is 1, 2, 5 or 1, 3, 4. If it's not 1, 2, 5, I can hide the 5 in here since clearly it's not on the German whisper lines. I can see that the 6 doesn't belong in here because it doesn't have a 1 that it would require to be its partner. But again, the 6 could hide in any of these 3 cells. So I'm not sure box 3 is really what's going to help me next. So I am more tempted now by, as incredible as that sounds, pencil marking these. Because I'm out of other, I don't want to even say good ideas, I'm out of any other idea. So options. So this is as low as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's quite a few low digits. This cannot be an 8, so this could be 7 or 9. That cannot be an 8, so that's helpful. That's 6 or 7. That removes a degree of freedom for the rest of this line. And that's all the pencil marks for this thermometer. Which I'll be honest is not really enough. What I may do, I'm not sure this is a polarity puzzle just yet. But I am going to start preparing for it, just in case. Because I know I'm going to have to start coloring these German whisper lines, so I'm just going to preemptively get ahead of it. Let's think about this thermometer next. This could be as low as 1, 2, 3. That can't be a 4 because of this 4. So this is 5, 6, 7. That absence of a 4 removes a degree of freedom. So this is 7, 8, 9, 6, 7, 8, and 5, 6, 7. Very helpful, because if you look in box 4, There's only one place for a 5 now. I essentially have a quintuple of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, only one of which can be a 5, and it's this one, which removes a ton of freedom from these remaining cells. This is now 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4. These are all low digits now, which makes this a high digit, makes this a high digit. These are all low. 3 low digits in row 3, so it is a polarity cell, means that these have to be high digits. Otherwise, how am I going to get 5 low digits in one row? This, therefore, is a low digit. These are high, I can see that. This is 5. This is not 5. That, I was going to say it removes another degree of freedom. Not really. It does for only 2 cells. Staying on row 4, where can 9 be? Well, it's not a low digit, it's not 5. Can't be in the same box with another 9. It's not 4 or 8 or 6 or 7 or a low digit. You can never have a 9 on a region sum line where one of them is a single cell. So the only place for a 9 is in here. That removes a degree of freedom there. This is 6, 7, 8. 6 is definitely one of these 2 cells. 7 is definitely one of these 2 cells. 6 looks across, removes another degree of freedom. This is not 6, this is not 5, this is not 4, this is not 3. And this is another low digit. This is a low digit. So I'm looking at the rest of row 4. And essentially what I have is either another high digit, which is 6 or 7, or another low digit just to complete row 4. And they're in one of these 2 cells. Now, if this is 6 or 7, how on earth can I get it to add up to 9 when the other options that I have include a 3, 4? So even with 6 and 3, that's already at 9. And even if I go for a minimum with 1, that's 10. So this is low. This is high. This is 6 or 7 again, just to complete this row. All of these now are 1, 2, or 3. Not quite enough, really. Column 1, I've got 3 low digits. One of them, the fourth one, is going to be up here. These are high. This is low. These have to be high. So how am I going to sort of illustrate this? If these were low, I've essentially got 1, 2, 3, 4 in here. That would be 5. Well, what is this cell then? Which is not 4 high digits, not the 4 low digits, and not the 5. So these have to be high. This has to be low as well. Keep going in column 7. Where can 1 go? It's none of these cells. It has to be in box 3, where it has to be on the 8 line, 8 region sum line. That's the 1. Five now, we can keep asking that same question. Where does it go? It can't be on a German whisper line. That is a 5. That's not a 5. So we have a low digit, a high digit. These are 2, 5, or 3, 4 to add up to 8. That 1, Sleuth, pay attention. 2, 3, 4, that's 5. That 2 means that's not a 2, not a 2, not 3s. I can still do 1, 2, 3 with a 6 though. And I can obviously still do 1, 2, 5 with an 8. So that hasn't resolved necessarily for us. These, come on, Sleuth, we just need to keep asking that question. Given we started this whole coloring route, I've got 3 low digits in box 6. These can't be low digits, these have to be high digits. That's a low digit. Maybe this arrow sum? Maybe. It's a bit of a stretch. Just 5, you can see classic Sudokus in one of these 2 cells. If that's a 5, these would be 2 high digits. I'm not seeing the problem with that. That'd be 1, 2, 3, 4 low digits. Sorry, 4 high digits. These would be low. Again, I'm not seeing the problem with any of that. Something I probably should do is use these German whisper lines a bit more. For example, this cannot be a 4 with a double 9. This is 1, 2, or 3. Same, 1, 2, or 3. 4 is in one of these 2 cells. 4 is in, actually, one of 3 cells. I was going to say it's one of 2, and therefore this can't be the 4 because that would require a double 9. That's not true. I can put it on the thermometer. This can include a 6 because this can still be a 1. 6 could still be in here. One of these 2 is a 1 though. Whichever one is a 6 in these 3 cells, the German whisper partner would have to be a 1, which makes this not a 1. That was there a while. Sorry, I'm jumping all over the place. There must be a kind of a smoother path than what I'm doing. But here, you know, as soon as you sort of place one of these region sum lines and you determine whether it's a 9 or not, the reason is just whenever I find that it is a 9, I kind of dismiss it because it means I don't have to have a 1 on here. But that's not true because I've already placed a 2 in the same box. So this is not a 2, 3, 4 line. It has to have a 1 because it's not 2, 3, 4. And with the 3 being present means I need a remainder of 6, and it's not 2, 4, it is 1, 5. To add up to 9. Where does this is not a low digit now because it's 1, 2, 3. The only low digit that remains is 4, which would require a 9 in the same column. That is a high digit. That is a high digit. That is a low digit. Two, we've used that. 5 could still be in here. Yeah, I'm not. This is a tricky puzzle. I could have used the same logic that I used earlier in box 6. Again, this cannot be a high digit on the region sum line. The minimum would be 6, plus 3, plus 2, that is 11. That is a low digit, that is the high digit. One of these 2 cells now is 1, because neither of these. That means 1 is on this side. Not very helpful, if I'm honest. Nine is not here, nor there. One of these is a 9. Not a huge revelation. Yeah, not a revelation at all. This is 6, 7, or 8. This is not 9. This is another 6, 7, or 8. We still don't know what this region sum line adds up to. And this can still be ridiculously a 6. And obviously an 8. What am I missing? Is it this thermometer? Is it time to think about this thermometer? You see, the fact that this is 4 and 9, looking at this cell. So 1, 2, 3, 4, not allowed. So this is 5, 6, 7, or 8. And if this is 8, 7, 6, 5, this is not a 5. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a low digit. This is 2, 3, 5, 6. No, it can go as high as 6. Or 7 and 8. That's not a 3. This is 4, 5, 6, or 7. It's a lot of options. If these two are low, that would be 3, 4 low digits. That would basically have to be 5, 6, 7, or 6, 7, 8. In fact, it would have to be 5, 6, 7. 5 actually has to be on this thermometer, because if you look at the rest of row 8, there is no other place for it. So one of these 3 cells is 5. Bearing in mind as well, we've got also this 5 in here. If these are not low and they're high, that would have to be essentially 5, 4, and then 2 or 3. Yeah, so that's, again, all possible. I'm not seeing the restriction. How about column 2? We've got 4 high digits. This has to be low. Therefore, both of these are low. Rest of this box, well, we've done 4 lows and a 5. All of these are high. That's 4 high digits in this row. This has to be low. These have to be high. This is from 2, 3, or 4. All the high digits are done. So the rest of it is low or 5. The 6 you can see now is not in these 2 cells. In fact, the option was always one of these 3 cells. But the fact that I've actually got all 4 high digits, the 6 is in here, meaning this is a 1. That's not a 1. That's not a 1 either. This is now forced to be 2, 3, 4. This is a 9. That 9, there you go, 7, 6. I say there you go, it hasn't actually helped me. 7, 8, 9. I mean, it's only given me the 6 and the 7, which means there's another 6 in one of these 2 cells, and it's not here because of this corner pencil mark. That's a 6. This is the 3, 5, because we've got 1 and 2 plus a 3, 5. This is 3 or 5. It is not a 5. That is a 3. Only place now left for a 5 in column 6 can only be up here. That's 5. That's 1. This can't be a 4 nor a 3. This is 1 or 2. Only place for a 4 is in here. That was never a 4 because that would require a double 9. Just need to sort of pay attention. Sleuth 2 and 3 in column 7 means that's the 4. That's the 2, 3 pair. That 3 gives me 2, 3, 2. This can be 7, 8, or 9. Could be a lot of them. That's not a 2. This is 1, 3, 4. This is 1 or 4. This is not the 4. That's the 4. This is 1 or 3. 1 or 3 are looking at this cell. Actually, now that I placed the 3, that was 1, 2, 5, meaning these are 8s. That's a 7. That's a 6. These are not 1s or 3s. That's a 5, 2, 1. That's 7. Oh, we've nearly got it. 8, 9. Could be any of them with 1, 2, 3. Could still be a 6. Yeah, still has 1, 2. We've removed 1 degree of freedom. 8 is gone. 7 is gone. 6 is gone. 4 is still there. That is not low or 5. We placed the 5. That is a high. That's all the highs done. That's a low digit. One of these is low and the other one is a 5. I can't tell which it is. These two are high digits. That's all 4 high digits done. That's a low digit. Still can be, as ridiculous as that sounds. Can it? Yeah, I can still do 5 and 2 to get to 8. The other option is 3, 4, and it'll be in this order because of this 3 and this 4. So I still actually haven't, since the start, I still haven't cracked this. That's not an 8 because of this 8. This is another 8, 9. These are from 1, 2, 3s. Neither of these can be a 3 because the 8, 9s are gone. And it would require 8 and 9 to be a 3. So this is not a 3. This is a 7. This is a 6 next to the 1, 2. That is the 3. That is another 8 or 9. Sadly, still don't know which one it is. One of these two is a 6 and an 8 and 9. The 8 and 9 is not in this cell. That's the 6. That's the 8, 9. That 6 removes this 6. This is 5 or 7. Actually, it's just 7. Placed that 5 ages ago. That's a 3. This puzzle really makes you work hard. That 3 gives me a 1, a 3. That 2 gives me a 1, a 2. This is not a 2. This is 1, 3, 4. Remember, that wasn't a 4 because I can't have a double 9. In here, it is 6, 8, 9. 8 and 9 tells me that's the 6. This is 8 and 9, which still allows me to have a 3. That is a 7. 1, 3, 4 in here means that's not a 3. This is 2, 5. This is also 2, 5. Right, maybe time to think about this German whisper line. So I really haven't thought about it yet. So it's either 2 high digits, which it isn't, because I've already got 3 in row 8. Therefore, these are 2 low digits with a high digit in here. That can't be a 1. That is a low digit. One of these is a high digit with a 5. That can't be a high digit because 6, 7, 8, and 9. That is the 5. And now I've got 5 also in one of 2 cells. This is a low digit, and it can only be 4 because 1, 2, 3 are placed. That's a 4. 1, 3 pair means that's the 4. These are all the low digits done. And this is a 5, 6 pair. That's a 5. Gives me the 3, 4 finally resolved. Can't believe it took this long. And that 5. So everything's looking okay so far. 1 and 2. Yeah, I can have anything in here. 7, 8, or 9. 1, 2, 3. Not really resolved. 2, 5, or 5, 6 again. Not really resolved. What am I missing? I've done all the region sum lines. These are still not resolved. There's a 7 up here with 8 or 9. There is a 6 in here with 8 or 9. 4 is on one of these 2 cells. Therefore, this has to be a 9, which gives me 8, 9. This is not 8 or 9. This is a 6. That's not 6. This is a 9. That is an 8. Therefore, that is a 7. That is a 6. This is 7 or 8. That's not the 7. This is 8. This is 7. Doesn't give me the 1 or 2. This is a 9, an 8, a 9, an 8, a 9, 9 and 8. Doesn't give me my 1, 3 yet. The 6, however, will do. That's 5, that's 6, that's 5, that's 2. Doesn't give me my 1, 3s. This is 4. This is 1 or 2. That's a 1, 2 pair. That's a 3, that's a 1. Am I just... How is this so tricky still? That could be anything, that could be anything, that could be anything. Am I missing? Yep, 2, 1, 2, 1. That has to be a 3 now, and if I've not made any mistakes, that's a 2 for the finish. That's a solve counter 333. That's a very tricky puzzle. I mean, it was done in 27 minutes, so maybe not that tricky, but that was a tricky puzzle. It sort of kept fighting you every step of the way. Admittedly, some of it was just, you know, Sudoku blindness, like not seeing that 2, resolving that 1, 2, and then taking a good 10, 20 seconds to actually spot it. But yeah, that was tough. And I'm not sure necessarily there is a different solution path. Let me know, excuse me, in the comments how you guys got on, because yeah, this was unusually tricky. I mean, I agree with the 2-star difficulty rating, but yeah, that was very much on the edge of what would be considered 2-star in my opinion. Hope that you guys enjoyed the puzzle and the video. Yeah, definitely let me know in the comments how you guys got on, and see you back for the next one. Bye bye for now.